All right, all right. Everything looks good, looks hot. Here we go. We're good. Hey, people, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black at Night Show. Glad you could tune in. Yes, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. I think that's everywhere we are right now. What's going on, guys? How y'all feeling? I guess we all know about the news. We heard the news today, right? That Joe Biden is running again. I guess they say that old story, fool me once, shame on me, shame on you, I can't be fooled again. Yeah, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, fool me again, I can't be fooled again. I think, fool me, let's just change it up. Lose the race for presidency once, shame on you. Lose the race for presidency twice, shame on me. Lose the third time, shame on us all. The whole system should collapse. All right, just so people know, Joe Biden, he's running. He announced that he's running for the 2020 Democratic nomination again. And there's been a little bit of disagreement on how many times Joe Biden has failed to win the presidency. He's actually run, according to my research, he's actually ran 3 times, which means he failed 3 times. 84, 88, and 2008. 84 was such a quick stint, I think some people don't count it. I think that's what it is. But actually it's 3 times technically, okay? So this will be the 4th time that he will run unsuccessfully. I'm going to go ahead and call it now. Put me in the book, Bill. Put me in the book. Put me in the book. I'm down. I'm going on the record. All right, so Joe Biden announced that he's running, and a lot of us were already expecting it. In fact, they've been rolling out the red carpet for Joe Biden for about 2 months. Yeah, they've been getting everything decorated real nice for him, right? Oh man, all the social media, all of the corporate media on social media, all the corporate media on cable news networks have been talking about Joe Biden as if this guy can get it done. And my thing has always been, what possible history are you pointing to that shows that Joe Biden is this huge winner? You know, it's Hillary Clinton all over again, folks. It's just a repeat Hillary Clinton, and these people are embracing it. They're happy to embrace it because they nostalgically look back at the years of Obama and they go, I could do that again. I could do that again. I'd like to know just what about Obama presidency that was so great. Are you like Jay-Z and Beyonce going to the White House? That's what it was. We were at war 7 places. We were at war every day of Obama's presidency. Maybe you didn't care because Game of Thrones was on. Maybe you didn't pay attention because The Walking Dead and it was so much happening at the time. But yeah, in 1 year, Obama dropped 26,000 bombs. He set the record for the amount of bombs dropped in a single year. He dropped so many bombs, we ran out of bombs. The people who make the bombs are like, God, Obama, what are you doing, man? You got us back here in a sweatshop making these bombs. We can't keep making bombs like this. Bombs cost money. I thought black people respected cost. So he said, I'm only half black. That's insulting. Make those bombs. And I laughed to keep from crying because it's really sad. People think it was a good time. Weren't black people getting killed by the cops like hotcakes when Obama was president? What part of that was good? All the hashtags were under Obama. His right-hand guy was Biden. And you long for it? You're almost as bad as the Trump people that say, we want to make America great again. We want to go back in time. It doesn't make sense. I don't get it. Everybody from Eric Garner to John Crawford to Tamir Rice, all of them, hashtags under Obama. What about the Obama years that was so great? You know, Fat Boys had already broke up. Biggie and Pac were dead. What's going on? What was good about it? So anyway, guys, I want to run through a couple of clips. I want to catch everybody up on the Joe Biden announcement speech. I thought was classic, horrible. I'd like to know who he paid to do this. Who is this consultant? Okay, but let me run the clip. Maybe you didn't see it. Here's Joe Biden announcing his run for presidency in the most unimaginative, least creative way possible after all of this anticipation.
Announced that he's running for the Democratic presidential nomination.
Self-evident. We know him to the author of one of the great documents. Charlottesville, Virginia is home to the author of one of the Charlottesville, Virginia is home to the author of one of the great documents in human history. We know it by heart. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights. We've heard it so often, it's almost a cliche, but it's who we are. We haven't always lived up to these ideals. Jefferson himself didn't, but we have never before walked away from them. Charlottesville is also home to a defining moment for this nation in the last few years. It was there on August of 2017 we saw Klansmen and white supremacists and neo-Nazis come out in the open. Their crazed faces, illuminated by torches, veins bulging and bearing the fangs of racism, chanting the same anti-Semitic bile heard across Europe in the 30s. And they were met by a courageous group of Americans, and a violent clash ensued. And a brave young woman lost her life. And that's when we heard the words of the President of the United States that stunned the world and shocked the conscience of this nation. He said there were, quote, some very fine people on both sides. Very fine people on both sides? With those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence between those spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. And in that moment, I knew the threat to this nation was unlike any I had ever seen in my lifetime. I wrote at the time that we're in the battle for the soul of this nation. Well, that's even more true today. We are in the battle for the soul of this nation. I believe history will look back on 4 years of this president and all he embraces as an aberrant moment in time. But if we give Donald Trump 8 years in the White House, he will forever and fundamentally alter the character of this nation, who we are, and I cannot stand by and watch that happen. The core values of this nation, our standing in the world, our very democracy, everything that has made America, America is at stake. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for President of the United States. Folks, America's an idea that's stronger than any army, bigger than any ocean, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It gives hope to the most desperate people on earth. It guarantees that everyone is treated with dignity and gives hate no safe harbor. It instills in every person in this country the belief that no matter where you start in life, there's nothing you can't achieve if you work at it. That's what we believe. And above all else, that's what's at stake in this election. We can't forget what happened in Charlottesville. Even more important, we have to remember who we are. This is America.
All right, guys, you got to remember who you are. That was Joe Biden, if you remember who he is. I'm sure you do. And if you've been paying attention, you probably are not that excited about remembering who Joe Biden is. And yes, we should remember who we are. We are the people who elected Joe Biden as vice president. I mean, it was a package deal. And we also were the country that elected Barack Obama. Is it just me, or maybe we don't want to think about who we were? Maybe we want to think about who we can become. I'm just saying. You can't go backwards. What's up with these old white guys trying to take us backwards, man? Both Trump and Biden want to take us back to something. remember who we were, or who we are, or what we. Just make something new. That's 3 minutes. That video was 3 minutes of platitude after platitude. No, nothing. We don't need you to inspire us to garbage. And that's exactly what he wants to do. First he starts off, he talks about, with those words, the President of the United States assigned a moral equivalence. Talking about between spreading hate and those with the courage to stand against it. Talking about Charlottesville. Look, guys, I don't need Joe Biden coming into my world talking about Charlottesville. It's so 2016. Like, didn't we already deal with this? Is that the best you got? You've been at home. I don't know what you've been doing, driving your Corvette, trying on new sunglasses, smelling people's hair, and you come back, and the best you got for me is to talk about Charlottesville. I think what he's giving us a glimpse into his new campaign and what it will be, pointing at Trump and going, Trump's bad. No, I guess they haven't. The thing is that I don't think the Democrats have realized that that's not going to win an election. It'll get you a lot of views. See, I think corporate media, the people pulling the strings in corporate media have seduced Democrats into thinking that what's good for them is good for their party. Like, what's good for the corporate media is not what's good for the Democratic Party. These people are out of touch. It's not going to work just to demonize Trump. And then people go, okay, well, I guess we got to go with this guy. I don't think that's how it's going to work. I believe those days are over, folks. It's a new day. Now it's about, what can you do for me, or I'm just going to stay home? What can you do for me, or I'll just vote third party? I'll just vote Libertarian, or I'll just vote Green Party, or I'll just vote, I'll write in Tim Black's name. That's always an option. I mean, Joe Biden was platitude after platitude. And once again, like, talking about the core values of this nation. That's another thing. Biden, do you understand that the core values of this nation have been war, poverty, that 40% of the homeless people in America have jobs? So that means basically servitude. Not making a living wage is like almost, it's akin to servitude in the richest country in the world. Maybe some other places, based on their economy, it is what it is. But in America, there's really no excuse for it. So that's really what America is. It's a place where the rich get richer, the poor get poor, people get exploited, and they get lied to by media in Hollywood that gives them the idea that that one day maybe they could be one of these people, which is basically like hitting the lottery, that makes all this money while everyone else stays poor. Millennials have started to see that's not a model that they want for their futures. Joe Biden doesn't speak to that at all. But there's a lot of things about Joe Biden, besides, because we heard a lot about the touchy, the smelly, the creepy Joe Biden. There's even a website dedicated to it. I did a video on it. It's hilarious. But being creepy and invading people's personal space and having no respect for others, particularly women and children, is the least of Joe Biden's problems when it comes to running for president. Because a lot of people look at that and they go, well, I don't think he means it in any bad way. Oh, well, maybe he's just who he is. He's a nice old guy, he's a good fella. So they brush that off. But what they cannot brush off is the case against Joe Biden that extends well beyond all of the smelling and touching and squeezing and pleasing. It's just how I am. I'm a hands-on kind of guy. I like to get in there, So what I have for you is an article written by my friend Walter Bragman over at Pace Magazine. He's been on the show a couple of times. He has a very detailed article where he breaks down the case against Joe Biden. Number one, Joe Biden is a Wall Street ally. He's been in the pocket of Wall Street since he entered Congress. One of the main criticisms of Hillary Clinton this past election was that she was inexorably close to Wall Street. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Joe Biden. Another character who is inexorably, he's very close. Stop giving me these big words, these doctorate words. Give me the GED words. Inexorably close to Wall Street himself. The former Delaware senator's top campaign donor over 2 decades was the financial services industry. That's who gave to his campaigns. That's 2 decades, 20 years of taking Wall Street money. All right? That's what Joe has done. That's what old regular Joe, ride the train, ride the Amtrak to and fro, Joe has been doing. It's not going to bode well. They're hoping that if you'll hate Trump so bad that you won't care that Joe's been in the hip pocket of Wall Street pretty much his whole career. That you'll just turn a blind eye to it and you'll go, at least he's not prejudiced. But maybe he is. He gutted welfare. Yeah, he gutted it. In the article, The Nation, Why Hillary Clinton Doesn't Deserve the Black Vote, New Jim Crow, author Michelle Alexander, you remember her, took specific aim at the former Secretary of State's role in securing the passage of the Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act of 1996. This was the act that threw lots of poor women off of welfare who said, y'all are just a bunch of welfare queens. Yeah, they took a page out of the playbook of Ronald Reagan. You know, the welfare queen. So that all the rural white people who were struggling and poor could blame it not on the rich 1%, not on the rich politicians who did the work of the donors, the work of the corporations, but blame it on people that were even poorer than them. Single moms. And said, that's why you're poor. Because these black women over here, they're the reason. Biden voted yay on this controversial bill referred to as welfare reform. Among other things, it added work requirements and a 5-year lifetime limit on the program temporary assistance to needy families. A lot of people were thrown off public assistance beyond poverty because of this action. Joe Biden didn't stop there. He also has more dirt. Maybe you heard about it. The notorious 3 strikes law, the crime bill. Joe Biden didn't just vote for it because a lot of people voted for it. Hey, I admit a lot of people voted for it. I'm ashamed to admit that people voted for that bill. Hillary Clinton went around the country selling that bill. Joe Biden did the same thing. In fact, he co-authored it. Him and Orrin Hatch. That's right. He wrote the 3 strikes bill. It's basically sunk Hillary with black folks. Took a lot of the wind out of the sails of the black community. But I'm sure they're thinking right now that people won't care. They just go, well, sometimes, sometimes you just gotta, overlook the breaking up of families. Suddenly the opiate crisis hits, and now drug use is considered a sickness. Rewind the clock 20 years, when I was coming up, if you liked another kind of drug, it wasn't a sickness, it was called moral failure, criminal, predator. Here's a clip of Joe Biden doing more than just saying yay or nay on this bill. Here he is selling it on the Senate floor.
Matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street. That's number one. There's a consensus on that. Unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. I'm the guy that said, rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. It's a shame, but we don't know how to rehabilitate. But there is a consensus, and I will cease. A, we must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malefactor in society. I don't care why someone is antisocial. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society, try to help them, try to change their behavior. That's why we do in this bill. We have drug treatment and we have other treatments to try to deal with it. But they are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. But we would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exists. And we must deal with that.
You know, as I watch that, folks, I have a hard time finding any difference between him and, say, I don't know, Strom Thurmond. I have a hard time finding a difference between Joe Biden and, like, probably one of the worst Republicans I can think of. You know what I mean? Like, Rick Santorum's more compassionate. He wasn't the only one like that, but that's Joe Biden. That's not a body double. That is Joe Biden. Sounding like every bit of a Dixiecrat. Let me read you this. Biden authored portions of the Anti-Drug Abuse Act, which created a 100-to-1 sentencing disparity between crack and powder cocaine. Sounds like certain types of criminals he had no problem with, but only certain other types of criminals he had a problem with. Certain types of drugs he had a problem with, but not other certain types of drugs. Until reforms were made in 2010, individuals caught with just 5 grams of crack were subject to the same mandatory minimum sentences of 5 years in prison as those caught with 500 grams of cocaine. You could have been caught with $50 worth of crack. You would do the time of somebody who had 500 grams of cocaine. 500 grams of cocaine is enough. That means you're a dealer. a user of crack was punished like a dealer of cocaine. And I know you've heard this argument, you've heard people talk about this all the time. I don't think they put it in very simple terms like that. A user of crack dealt with like a drug dealing cocaine guy with the penthouse, the whole thing, you know, like in the movies. But it doesn't stop there. Biden also backed the Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1988, which imposed harsher penalties for drug possession. Biden took specific aim at ecstasy in 2003, has been a strong supporter of global anti-drug initiatives like the U.S. actions in Colombia. I'm just trying to figure out, like, they think you're going to ignore that, though, right? They think you're going to look the other way, go, well, hey, you know, crime is bad. Notice all the scare tactics he used in the video. Oh, man, his mother. They're coming after my mom. They're coming to get my mom. And he also said in the video, the reason why we need to do it, we don't think it's going to rehabilitate these people. No, we don't think that. The reason why we need to do it is because, well, we need to show the world that Democrats can be tough on crime so we can win elections. That's what it was always about. It was always about winning elections. Winning over elections, meaning winning Republican voters. Be tougher on those poor people. Be tougher on them. Be tougher on them. You create the image, the narrative of these evil people, and then you make money off of getting rid of those people that you created the narrative around. That's not all. What else? Oh, he voted for a little thing. You may have heard of it. It's called the Iraq War. Yes, it's going to be a bunch of stuff like this with Joe Biden. Whole bunch of stuff. Now, I'm like halfway through the list of things that we can bring up and talk about with Joe Biden. But on the news today, I saw somebody from the Democratic Party, longtime congressperson, talking about Joe Biden. I wonder if they kept it real at all about the uphill battle that Joe Biden brings to the Democratic Party if he were to become the nominee. The way this person talks, Joe Biden's the best thing since sliced bread. Check her out.
He gave Joe the portfolio to bring jobs back. The one thing, getting back to Joe for just a minute, that he's got that no one else has, he was a heartbeat away from a great president for 8 years. And I know the portfolio he gave Joe. It was right after the Great Recession, when we were fighting back. He gave Joe the portfolio to bring jobs back. He gave Joe portfolios that took him to all parts of the world. So I think it's going to be really good for the whole party to have Joe and Mayor Pete in there and the women in there. I'm proud to be a Democrat right now. And maybe we don't agree on every single thing. And maybe some people think we need to go young, and some people say we need to go old, or we need to go left, or we need to go middle. We've got great people there, and everyone's going to feel comfortable, I think, with this field.
What do you think about the age thing? Do you think in your later 70s people lose a step or two that's dangerous for the president? No, really.
You're talking to me.
I know I'm talking to somebody who doesn't show a year that passed when I first met you. Yes, it's all true. You look at, not that I'm allowed to talk about appearances, but the fact is you look like you're handling age very well. I've heard it from older people that older people shouldn't be president. And I just wonder if you have a view on that.
I absolutely do. I think it's crazy to just paint everybody of a certain age with a certain brush. And that goes to young people. Look at Mayor Pete. He's kind of an old soul, and he's very young. And
I don't know about you, but I can't listen to much more of that. Barbara Boxer. Barbara Boxer's a horrible person. She lied in Nevada and said that Bernie supporters were throwing chairs. Then we saw the film and there was no chairs at all being thrown. She went on TV and lied and tried to demonize Bernie supporters. So she's really hard to listen to. But the little bit I did play, you get a sense of the lack of integrity that these people have at all. like it's nothing but identity politics everywhere. And that's coming from a black guy who thinks, yeah, black people need to be included in conversations that concern this country, but only a certain type of black person will actually stand up for black people in a way that makes sense. Not just go along and get their slice of the pie and shut up and be quiet after they get theirs. So it's not just being black. Like you can be black and not support black folks. I'll take a white guy or Asian guy or Native American guy. Doesn't matter if they got my best interest at heart and they express that and show it, and then I'm going to hold them accountable. But Barbara Boxer's like a lot of other Democrats who believe, hey, it's about race, it's about gender, it's about orientation. It's even about age, if you listen to Barbara Boxer. Why come it can't be about track record? I'm just saying, why come we can't be like, hey, what's the track record? How about some policies? How about a few policies? How about hanging your hat not on what you use to go to bathroom, but or what bathroom you use, but what you've done with your life, what you've accomplished, not for yourself, for other people. Being a politician is the epitome of public service. What public service have you done? So Barbara Boxer doesn't go into any of that. Instead, she makes it very clear what the game plan is for Joe Biden. They're going to run Joe Biden on Obama. Who cares if it didn't work for Hillary? It's the Hillary 2.0 or 3.0. I'm sorry, Hillary 3.0. I mean, it's crazy. You get a guy who failed to win the presidency 3 times. You're running him using the game plan of the woman who ran twice, who failed 2 times, as the way or the strategy. Let me try that again. You're taking a guy who failed 3 times to win the presidency. You're running him as your guy. And the game plan behind his campaign is to use the same strategy as the woman who lost twice. You can't make this stuff up, man. This is a Avengers sequel. It's a Shakespeare tragedy is what it is. Horrible stuff. Makes no sense. Now, he voted for, and some say helped lay the groundwork for the Patriot Act. That's a little doodad that people really hate, because what? It takes away your constitutional rights. Due process. Oh, we just say that we think that you're a terrorist, or we think you're doing something we don't like, and we don't have to charge you with a crime, we don't have to read you any rights, and we can hold you indefinitely. But hey, they don't think you're going to care about that. You're just going to care that Joe Biden reminds you of Obama. Yeah, that's all you care about, the Obama days, man. Worried about what Joe Biden and Obama did. Actually, he voted for a border fence in 2006 if you got a problem with border fences. Huh? Yeah, border fence in 2006. And why are we talking about border fences and how much we hate Donald Trump? And look, I've criticized Donald Trump. Check the pedigree. I got receipts of me criticizing Donald Trump. I've been turned up on Donald Trump, exposing him, that is. But let's keep it real, man. If we want to talk about deportations and how horrible it is, we really got to talk about Obama. He set the trend. He laid the groundwork for how many deportations you can get done. I mean, he was the deportator in chief. I know people didn't write about it. I wonder if any of that's going to rub off on Joe Biden. You would think it would matter to Democrats who suddenly have a problem. So, oh my God, deportations. I hate deportations. They're disgusting. How inhumane. Well, we just had a president, Obama, it wasn't long ago, it was just a couple years ago, who set a record on it. And his guy, Joe Biden, is running now. I wonder if you really have a problem with deportations or just how the media, how they portray it. Get what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Trump hasn't, really, accelerated that process. But it took a while for him to catch up because Obama really did lay the groundwork. He deported more than any other president. He was also harder on whistleblowers, the hardest on whistleblowers and media, the press, the free press. He prosecuted more whistleblowers and media folks than any other president combined, all the other presidents. That was Obama. But I'm wondering if that's what they're going to run Biden on. Is that the part of Obama's record they're going to run him on? I don't think so. You know what they're going to do? They're going to talk about platitudes and how warm the world was. There was no global warming. No. There was no racial inequality, economic racial inequality where black people make 10% of what white people, the average white family, makes. 10%. That the average black college graduate has the same amount of wealth as the average white high school dropout. They don't want to talk about it. Instead, they rather talk about police reform. Whenever they bring up black people, it's police reform. It's never about economics. But I digress. And I better, because you're cut off. Sad, isn't it? But what part of the Obama legacy are they going to really talk about? Are they going to talk about any of this stuff, or are they just going to talk about the warm and cozy feeling you had when, I don't know, when him and his wife did the fist bump? Yeah, let's focus on fist bumps and doing the Dougie with Ellen or something. Or wiping dirt off his shoulder with Jay-Z. I mean, because if we start looking at policy, we start looking at really what happened. We start looking at the foreclosures, the bank bailouts. You may not remember it so fondly. And maybe, just maybe, you'll hold Biden accountable for it. I mean, he was VP. The thing about it for me is that they didn't even think this would be a problem for you. Similar to when they called up Tom Perez, who was working the grill outside, chilling, not even thinking about being DNC chairman. When they called him up because Keith Ellison was in the lead and said, "Hey Tom, get your butt over here. We need you to run for DNC chair. We can't have Keith Ellison." I mean, he's not that progressive, but he is kind of progressive. You know, he's what Bernie Sanders' wing of the party. We can't have you sitting down. We gotta have you. We gotta get you in a fight, buddy. You gotta get this job. You gotta put your soft shoe on and get to walking. Joe Biden's not for net neutrality. Yeah, not reliable. Unreliable on net neutrality. Why is that? With Federal Communications' recent vote to reinterpret Title II, I don't even know if this is what happened. I know there's been some updates since this article. But here goes the biggie, because I need to check on that one. Obama, well, yeah, Obama, you can say that. Biden voted for NAFTA, and he supported the TPP. That really hurt Hillary. You don't think it's going to hurt Biden? I think it's going to hurt Biden too. I think you can't just walk away from it. I think it's going to be a problem. I don't think it bodes well. I think this is a waste of time. I think running Biden is going to prove to be a failure. And I think the bet I made at the beginning of this video, where I said, I bet you Biden does not win the nomination, I think I'm right. I think the self-inflicted gunshot wound, which is Joe Biden, a walking gaffe machine, a man who never met a misspoken word he didn't like, will once again not disappoint us in doing just that. I mean, the NAFTA thing and the TPP thing is enough to kill you. Why, you think Pennsylvania just got better all of a sudden? It's like, okay, we're good now? You think the jobs came back to Wisconsin? Detroit? Michigan? Job's still gone. No amount of hugs and shoulder massages are going to bring it back, Joe. Why is this guy running? What are you trying to do? Get me a Tulsi Gabbard in here. I say one of the best for last because in the age of the Me Too movement, you would think you would have an inkling that the Democratic Party would be a little bit smarter. Use their noodle and not get a guy who disrespected a woman on the optimal stage right there, Anita Hill, totally disrespected her, shamed her, and silenced her in order to, and took away her ability to tell her story. He apologized for it, but she's like, hey, it's too big a thing. You just can't be like, my bad. My bad, I disrespected you totally. My bad. Can we hug it out? Nah, we can't. How did you get past that? I don't think there's enough time for it. And while all of this is being discussed, from NAV to the TPP, to Anita Hill, to the Three Strikes Law, to Wall Street ties, to all of it, when all of it is being unpacked, and he's going, but I've changed, I've grown, I've evolved, I've revolved, I'm not the same guy, I'm different, I've done this, I've done that. While all that's going on, you know what's happening? There's no conversation about policy and what we want. All of the air in the room will be sucked out talking about Joe Biden's baggage. And that's a travesty that we're going to be focused on listening to him try to explain. Hey, baby, I didn't mean it. I mean, I'm so sorry. I mean, I don't know what happened. I just fell down and my clothes fell off. And I don't know how we end up making love. I don't even know what happened. I mean, she seduced me. I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm going crazy. I need to see a doctor. I'm so sorry. Oh, I don't know. I didn't mean to make the 3 outside babies. I didn't mean to have another wife across town, baby. I'm sorry, baby. Please believe me. I'm so sorry. I'm crazy. Blame my dad. I blame my mom. I blame the school. I blame the music. I blame the rap. I blame everything. Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry. I mean, who has time for that? What's you gonna do, man? They think and that's the worst thing about it, is they think we're so stupid. And some of us are. Some of us are, but not all of us. Some of us, there are those of us who are going to be critical. They're going to go, you know what? I don't want Joe. I want something new. You know, I don't want to go back to Obama. I want to go forward with someone with policies that get us out of the ditch. Not the 1%, not the elite, not the corporations, which is trickle-down garbage, but, you know, yeah, we've all tried this idea that maybe if we're lucky, we'll be millionaires, multimillionaires, and, you know, but maybe that doesn't work. Maybe what we need is to make sure our communities are strong. Maybe we need to make sure our kids can get an education without going $100,000 in debt before they even get their first job. Maybe we need to worry about our seniors not having to decide between medication and food. It's really bad when you got to take medication with food, but you can't afford food because you bought medication. I mean, maybe it's time people wake up. I hope they do, because Joe Biden's not the answer. Neither is Robert Francis, a.k.a. Beto O'Rourke, or the Manchurian Candidate, Mr. Plastic himself, Pete Buttigieg. But it's not Joe Biden either. It's none of these 3 guys. The 3 Bs are a dead end. Buck a U-turn, America. Buck a U-turn. All right, guys, my name is Tim Black for TBTV. Subscribe to the channel, become a member. Follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter as Real Tim Black. Look, if we want better, if we truly want candidates and policies that matter to people, we got to get the word out. So independent media is our last defense into doing that. You can't expect people to make better decisions if they don't have correct information. Right? So that's what being a part of independent media is. I take it seriously. I hope you join me, become a member of my wolf pack back here. Do that today on Patreon, or do it on YouTube, or do it on Facebook. Just do it. Joe Biden is not the answer. Unless the question is, who needs to call it a day? All right, guys. Let me check and see what my chat room is like. See what people are saying out there. Got a few people out there. Oh, okay, Eric. Hey, Eric. Eric says, hands-on candidate in touch with women's voters. Hands-on candidate in touch with women voters. Yeah, he's in touch with them all right. He's in touch with them all right. Got Uli. Uli's in the house. A. Maris is in the house. Austin Zappis. My Facebook crew. What about Facebook? Who's in the house on Facebook? Okay, looks like that. Hope that didn't crash. My Facebook window went away. Oh, we're still live though. Unfortunately, I can't see what the comments are on my Facebook. But Facebook, my Facebook crew. There it is. It's still running though. All right. Well, thank you guys for supporting the show. Thank you for everybody who's a Patreon. Tim Black TV. I appreciate you guys. I see you tomorrow. Well, tomorrow will be. It's always great because tomorrow's when you get the phone up. You get to get what's on your chest, off your chest. Right, so you call up and yeah, it's Freedom Friday. So be here tomorrow 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Call in early, get in line so you can get your comment out to the world, which will be shared on Periscope, YouTube, Facebook, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, and Blog Talk Radio. All right, guys. I got nothing but love for you. I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Oh, and shout out to Justin Form and the Truth Bomb activists. JustinForm.com. This show is brought to you by JustinForm.com, a social media site that doesn't steal your data. Go do it today and tell them that Tim Black sent you. I love you. Peace.